Yes, Nigeria. This is 99.3 Nigeria Info. We are your number one for news and talk in the heart of Lagos. And we're situated right here, right in the heart of Lagos. You're welcome to the second half of Dailies today on Nigeria Info. We're doing this live on Facebook and YouTube. That means you can watch right now. Head over to Facebook, search for Nigeria Info 99.3. Do same on YouTube and you are live with us. You can also join us on Twitter at Nigeria Info FM. When you want to drop your comment, use the hashtag Nigeria Info MCF. That cough came from Jimi Disu.
Yes, it did. I'm sorry.
That is why I'm saying good morning to you.
Oh, good morning, everybody. My name is Jimi Disu. You're welcome.
Welcome. My name is Wemimo Adewuni. Let's kickstart and look at these stories starting from the Vanguard newspaper today. Gowon describes allegation of looting half of CBN as rubbish. He's a man of honor, says AFDB boss Akiwumi additional.
Right. Now, I'd like people all of us to listen carefully to what I have to say. The first is that I keep saying that when you get information, you dissect it, think about it before you put an opinion out in the public. Mm-hmm. Now, Gowon has been accused, according to the news going around by some member of parliament, of having left with half of the central bank after his tenure. I am not Gowon's lawyer. I am not his spokesperson. He's a full-grown adult. He can take care of himself. So I cannot speak for him. However, I can look at the situation and draw a few conclusions. Conclusion number one is that if Gowon left government, I think it was 71 or 72, with half of central bank, then he must be the greatest actor God ever created, and he's due for an Oscar award. Because by the time this gentleman left government, and I'd like you to read a book written by Moses Ehonde about the travails and sufferings of this gentleman when he went to Warwick University, okay, and how the British government had to provide a house for him. And I suspect, I'd like to be corrected, if it wasn't the Jonathan government that built a house for him in I think in Jos, I don't know where. Now, let me tell you something about information. Early this morning, I was going through Wikipedia, doing some research work on Fela Kuti. Then they mentioned this, there's an album he did with Ginger Baker. In Wikipedia, that is an authoritative media, they said that Fela toured the whole of Africa with Ginger Baker in a Range Rover way back then. I found that laughable because in Ginger Baker's documentary itself, he visited Fela in Calabar.
Wikipedia isn't actually authoritative. It's open to private...
Well, no, what I mean is that it has some reputation.
Yes, okay, it has some reputation.
So where I'm going is that when you see information, wherever it comes from, you need to dissect it properly. Okay? So, whether it left with half of the central bank, like I've said, I cannot defend or whatever, but I've given an opinion that he must have been a great actor. But what did the MP say? Let us look at what he said. What he said is that and I'm quoting from the Vanguard, and I hope the Vanguard is right. He said, some people will remember when General Gowon left Nigeria with half of the central bank. So it is said, and moved to London. So he wasn't making that statement himself. He says that some people said. Mm-hmm. Okay? So he said, let me read it again. It says, some people will remember when General Gowon left Nigeria with half of the central bank. So it is said that
so quoting.
He was quoting unknown sources. Okay, he said, so it is said, and moved to London. The report now says that Tugin, what's his name again? Tugin Hart, I don't know, did not provide any evidence to support his claim. I would not take, just because it's said by an MP and in the British Parliament where he has some kind of protection, I would look at that information 2-3 times before I form an opinion. Mm-hmm. Or pass it on to other people. Again, I repeat, if it is said, those of us who were old enough when Gowon left, this man went through a lot. I am not saying corruption did not take place during his tenure. We know the story of super palm sex and so on and so forth. We know the story of, people in his government. But the man did not even have a house. As a student, he was queuing to eat. He wanted to live in the hostels before I think the British government provided a house for him. Go check Moses Hunde's account of what happened. But so that, as far as I'm concerned, I'm not defending him or anything, but I have my doubts about it. And the man who made this statement, which unfortunately people have lost a bit of sight of, he says, "So it is said." So when you say "so it is said," that means he must have just said it, reported speech, and he must have said it in person.
However, is there a possibility that he exaggerated, by saying half of the central bank? In the first place, like you mentioned, he didn't quote a source, and that's a big allegation, which is probably why Gowon is coming out to say, hey, you're putting such a huge thing on my name, I have no hands in it.
No, this is what I think, and I'm moving to a very dangerous area now. My thinking is that that's what some people told him. That's why I said so it is said. Some people told him, maybe said, add this, some people must have told him. That's what I think would have happened. Back to our own people, we need to be careful. I said, let us stop being angry and let us stop being frustrated when issues confront us. Let's just look at these things with a clear mind. This gentleman contributed a lot to the development of the country. Of course, he fought the civil war, and some people are not happy about the things that he did. Understandably so. Some even believe that there was some kind of genocide and so on and so forth. I had no problem with that. But for every fact, let's be very, very careful. It is Gowon today. We don't know who it will be tomorrow. And then please note that sometimes you open yourself wide open for libel suits of all kinds.
Right.
I keep saying, be careful how you react and say things in the social media. But I think Gowon has enough supporters and lawyers and whatever who will take up this matter.
Let's look at these stories coming in from the Punch newspaper today. NAF, that's the Nigeria Air Force, runway cannot carry to Kano fighter jet. $493 million payment is threatened. We can't carry the jet, so why did we order it?
Exactly. What did we do? We ordered jets without examining the specs. You ordered Tucano jets, $493 million, and then you suddenly find that you can't, the runway cannot carry the jets. I think these Tucano jets they have a takeoff. I don't know what it is. There's some technicality. Let me read the story here, part of it. It says that they just took the risk of losing $493 million already paid to the United States for the purchase of the Super Tucano fighter jets. And the federal government had wired $493 million in 2018 to a U.S. company for the purchase of the jets to tackle insurgency. And that he said when the Americans now came to inspect the Kanji runway recently, that's after you are paid. They complained that the facility did not have the capacity to carry the aircraft.
So what are we going to do? Collect the money back?
Which money?
Or reinforce the runway?
Which money? You take it to the Tokumbo to Kano market.
Hey.
Because otherwise, what they are now saying here is that there is a need for Nigeria to find 9 billion that will take care of the runway at the aircraft, or else Nigeria will lose 493 million. That is how our country is being run.
Wow.
These are the things that should give us a lot of concern.
Wow.
The careless manner in which our resources are being frittered away. How does that happen? How does that happen? You because even the Tucano jets can't get here because they can't land.
They can't land. That means even when the jets are even ready to be shipped, we have to keep them there.
I honestly,
probably incurring demurrage.
This is for me. This is like you bought a half plot of land. Now you want to build a mansion on it, and you've already paid the architect and the builder
before realizing that you have
that
only
your
half.
land cannot. You bought a half plot of land in Ikoyi. You now went to Spain for them to give you this big design. for a
And you
mansion
import
with
materials
boys'
to build
quarters,
it.
boys' quarters, gatehouse for Malam and everything, and then you pay the Italian builders to come say, "Come over, let's go." When they get there, they now say, "This plan that you have, and is this where you want us to build this?"
Oh my goodness.
It's a very sad story.
What is
Very
more
sad
saddening is anyone answering questions about this
Well,
irresponsibility?
there have been loads and loads and loads of questions to answer. Nobody. Look, you were talking. You and I were having a small chat before, and we said, look, this country is virtually lawless. You know, in all ramifications, it's lawless. You are not held to account for anything. I would have thought that somebody in the defense ministry would be held
Answering
responsible for this.
questions
But
right
no,
now.
it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen.
You can't do this in a private company.
They will get that the target is at 9 billion. And let me ask a very crucial question. I would like the panel investigating this to even get an independent report and find out if that demand for the 9 billion is true.
If really the runway cannot. Can we move on to the Vanguard?
We can. Yeah, the one reading. Yeah, Malga.
Oh my goodness.
Great effect. No, that it was a slip.
You want start?
It was a slip. I just knew where
Now
to
that's
catch
my
you.
personal yabi.
I know where to catch you.
Okay, let's go on to the Vanguard. Lessons from Gbaja's convoy crisis. There was a story in the papers today about the widow.
Yes. Well, the family is asking for 500
compensation,
million,
500 million.
and the widow doesn't know about it. But this editorial puts everything in perspective. I'm happy to note that this editorial acknowledges all the efforts that Gbaja has made. Remember, he didn't fire the shot.
No, he did not.
But he has made a lot of efforts. I'm happy to hear that is made to ameliorate this decision. He has handed the security detail over to the DSS, and he will go through the trial process, and so on and so forth. But the editorial is about the lessons. We need to learn some lessons from this, and I hope Gbaja and our other senior officers will please note that this idea of trying to compensate people with public monetary things, you just do the right thing. Just make life comfortable for people. Look at what the Vanguard says here. It says, another aspect of this incident that should not escape our attention is the culture, Wemimo, the culture of Nigerians surrounding the vehicles of celebrities and political office holders for money. Yes. This culture of doling out, and the cynical public believes, rightly or wrongly, that it is still government money that they're distributing.
Yeah. So they think they want to get their share of it.
They want to get their share of it. And I think it's a bad habit that smacks a bit of bribery and whatever to cover up for what you have not done. Yeah. And it says, it is demeaning to those who engage in this practice and also waters the tare of corruption among political office holders. Poverty and hunger have been weaponized against the people. Nigeria will be a better place when citizens can hold themselves with dignity. Right. I usually say that. And demand accountability from politicians.
Yeah, absolutely.
I can't imagine Biden, throwing money at some people in Louisiana, wherever it is he is. He can't even invite them over to have a piece of his turkey. They have their turkey, he has his.
Everybody to his turkey.
What we demand from our politicians is they should treat us with dignity, with honor, and they should go ahead and do the things that will make our life.
Just do your job.
I remember I always say the example of Fayose when he was governor and he said he was going to buy Christmas dress for all the children. Removing that little aspect. There are little things you do that your children look up to you.
Yes.
So if you can't buy a Christmas shoe, Christmas is coming, Papa buy shoe for me. He didn't say governor buy shoe for me. If you can't do that for your child, but so your children will now end up looking up to the governor for everything in the house. I think we need to be treated with a bit more dignity in that aspect.
I agree with that. New Electoral Act ready March 2021, says Senate. Of course, again, this will be pushed to the president, waiting for assent. Do you think by any chance we can get this new Electoral Act before 2023?
We have no choice but to put pressure on them. In fact, the NSAS, the NSAS, I don't know whether to call them organizing committee, whatever. These are the areas in which they now have to start getting seriously involved. Take a look at the Electoral Act. see whether he meets the desires and aspirations of the people, and put all the pressure under the sun to make sure that in 2023 we are in a position to pick a government or to elect a government of our choice.
Right.
It is imperative. There is no other way. There is no other way. We cannot in 2023 start thinking of another NSAS movement. We've been at this for close to when the military was there. We've been struggling to get better leadership. And because we are in a democracy, it starts from making sure that you have a process that allows you to elect people of your choice. For example, one thing that is passionate on my mind is to have the opportunity for independent candidacy.
Absolutely.
Because with that, then you don't need to go queue up in someone's house overnight and whatever. So I would, and it says here, the chairman of the panel, addressing Donald, said the National Assembly would present a new electoral act to Nigerians before the end of March 2021. And I'd like us all to move in and make sure that it's the electoral act that meets our desires.
Let me take some comments before we go ahead. On Twitter, Akomugbenga says, were technical people who knew about these things not involved in the purchase of these Tucano jet, Nigeria finds ways to frustrate every day. So the jet should be put to action immediately. Would now be idle. I mean, we bought them because we needed them.
I need to correct him. The jets are not idle. They've not been delivered.
They're not even here yet.
They're not here. They can't fly in, which means that they've probably been passed on until you're serious, until you get serious and you're ready. Even if you then want it, there probably will be some. Nobody's going to be packing jets anywhere waiting for you when there are many there are other people who want it. This is a business that's being run. So you've missed the queue.
You have to now wait another turn.
You've wait another turn.
Arike Wuyo, I guess. Wahid Adebayo says, good morning, Uncle Jimi. You don't believe... okay, hold on a minute. You didn't believe UK Parliament say about General Yakubu Gowon, but you believe CNN satellite coverage about Lekki Gate, which not destroy this by external. What does that sentence mean?
Well, let me quickly clear because again, I say listen carefully. We are not talking about what the UK Parliament said. A member of Parliament said, and he said they said. If you have or he said them say. You understand? It reminds me of the late Taisho Lani at a time when there was some news going about Babangida and some. Or when he was confronted, he said he hid in a bus. You understand what I'm saying? The member of Parliament chose his words very carefully. He said they said. He didn't say categorically, and he didn't show any proof. And the question I wish the gentleman was here, I would have asked him, okay, the one that we now know, the ones that are facing trial in your country, and some of the Abacha loot that are still stuck in your country, what is holding it up? Nigerians, we need to think deeply. I'm being very honest with you. We need to think deeply, stop being emotional, and look at things in a more critical manner.
Let me read this comment by White Word on Twitter, who says, why is General Gowon and the Nigerian government not considering litigation against the British MP who made that outlandish claim? Why is Malami and Geoffrey Yama keeping quiet over this? Why are they explaining and not suing? Says he's shocked. Well, it's a claim against General Gowon.
In the first instance, it's General Gowon's prerogative to either sue.
Yeah.
If you wanted to sue everybody who said anything about you, you spend the rest of your life in litigation. 1, 2. I think, and I'd like to be, to get a legal opinion. I think the member of Parliament has some protection, okay, on the floor of the Parliament about what he says, and he has easily covered his tracks. You see, he has craftily covered his tracks by saying, let me read what he said again. He said, some people will remember when General Gowon left Nigeria with half of the central bank. So it is said, and moved to London.
But it would have been good if he had mentioned his source. That's a weighty allegation to just leave open-ended like that. I believe that's why General Gowon is coming out to say...
His source is so it is said.
Who so it is said?
That's his source.
Who so it is said?
He had,
Okay.
in all honesty, the man is relatively young, and I'm not sure how grounded he is
in
in
his in the
Nigerian
history,
affairs.
yeah.
I think it was what he was briefed that he was given.
Probably before the sitting, they were
Yeah.
gisting.
No,
So
not
it's
just
probably-
that. Not just that. You know that sometimes you want to spike to raise attention. It's a trick that some people do use to raise attention on what they're saying, and that's why he used the word "so it is said."
This one is laughing because I said every man to his turkey. Okay, keep laughing. Budget here says, Wemimo, I'm not addicted to. Oh, thank you very much. Sleepy Buhari, Sultan and banditry. Okay. There you go again. This guy, he keeps bringing up this amazing vocab: ignominy, infamy, a blocky, odium. I hear you. I see you. Go read up some more. It's on Twitter. Go and read it for yourself.
Let me react to that one. You get as it be. So it is said.
Hashtag so it is.
So it is said.
Over 2 years running to 3 years, these jokers don't know that the various Nigeria Air Force runways are not equipped to operate the Super Tucano jet, says well done, sir. And no one here said that 9 billion naira waka komoto. Obina Okereke says the people that negotiated the purchase of the aircraft knew fully well that we don't have the airports for the Tucano aircraft, but they were more interested in the kickbacks they would make for themselves. Allegation. Femi Babade Jaburata says the spate of killings across the country is alarming. If a monarch can be killed within his domain and Pa Olu Falayi farm raised, what is the fate of ordinary citizen? Let me jump quickly to Facebook and take 2 comments here. Wemimo, good morning. You're looking spliffy. Thank you. Okay, a lot of good mornings here. Thank you, everybody. Thank you. Does Jimi Disu now work with Nigerian for? Were you in Pluto? Yes. Akan Ed Afyong now says Gowon was attending an OAU summit when he was overthrown by Murtala Muhammad. How could he have left with half of CBN?
No, it's a literal way of speaking, really. It doesn't mean that
it was an exaggeration.
It doesn't mean that he ran to the CBN with the bullion van and took all the money.
Yeah.
No. What the man is accusing him of is massive corruption.
Yeah.
And there is no record, maybe this is the way I should put it, there is no record at all that General Gowon as a person, of course there was corruption in his government. There's been corruption since I was born because the system allows it. But incredibly, Gowon as a person, I say he had no house. I think he got a house built maybe just about 10 years ago. Go and read Moses Ihonde's book on the travels that he went through. You know?
But Busola Ande on Facebook says, we're not interested in MP's allegation. After all, David Cameron said rubbish about us, that we're fantastically corrupt. Okay. Another one here from, who is this? NF Francis. Jimmy, this your defense of Gowon is nothing. Okay.
I am not defending.
I thought you made that clear.
I made that very clear. But of course, I'm only replying these things honestly because of otherwise I just ignore them. Some people just want to keep drawing you out. I am not defending Gowon. I said he can defend himself. He's full-grown adult. He has all the resources to do that. All I have done is analyze. Now, if you are too angry to see the whatever, I'm sorry, I can't help you.
Well, let's see this one. Someone has done some research here. It says Gowon was toppled in 1975. The MP was born in 1973. He retired as a lieutenant colonel. That doesn't mean he can't read. The MP, right? He can still read and find out what happened in 1975.
Well, it would be nice to know if it is. But he has already said it is said. I mean, so that covers it. I don't think we should split hairs on the matter. Once he has said it is said, what he said is that what it means is that it was a rumor.
Yeah, and it's not the source of that.
No, what it means is that it is said that what we hear, what it means is that it was a rumor.
Blessed Lolu Ajayi, I have a feeling that the parliamentarian could have another name of government officials, but mistakenly mentioned Gowon's name. Yeah, okay.
No, but excuse me, sorry, Wemimo, I'm so sorry.
I
apologize. Are you telling me that Nigerians themselves don't know those who have worked their money? We know them now. Why are we splitting hairs over something that is quite obvious? We have a fair idea of people who have worked the money of this country. So why are we wasting time?
Daddy Jeff says the president should be held responsible for the jet. He's asking that we hold the president responsible for the jet because he was the one who dished out the funds without National Assembly approval.
Well, the buck stops at the president's table, but I think we all know that the kind of governance that we have now is, to put it politely, not centralized.
Yeah. Let's take a look at this story before we leave. It's in the Vanguard. Mass defection boasts. PDP, CUPP, others blast PDPs. The writers of this story. Nigerians already stoning APC. Only traitors will defect, said PDP. CUPP challenges APC to shock Nigerians with massive human development. Dying PDP pushing Nigeria into one part. See, just
you see, these are all political jargon, political whatever. But what I somehow believe is that the PDP and the APC are collapsing gradually, internally. You understand what I'm saying? The structure has not collapsed fully. And I suspect that there's a third party that might be in the making that will have a combination of the two members of the two parties who are disgruntled. Now, in 9 cases out of 10, they are not doing this because they love you and I. Mm-hmm. They're doing this for their own selfish interests. Everybody is trying to position himself for this post and that post and that post and this post. But again, I'd like to call on the NSAS people. Again, you have another job to do. You must provide a platform for Nigerians, for a platform that presents a credible candidate to us in 2023. It must be part of your original plan, and it had better not be anybody that that had this opportunity before
now.
Yes, it has to be somebody fresh, preferably young, somebody well exposed. If you look at the orderly manner in which the NSAS protest was organized up to a point, then we have hope for this country that we can organize ourselves.
Yes, absolutely. It was really
you understand what I'm saying?
Nice to see
yes,
that
it was nice to see that. Until it was hijacked, it was well organized, well put together. So if we still have people like that, why not let's see what we can come up with? But I would hate to see that we would end up with another candidate that we've known in the past, or to be honest with you, any old fuddy-duddy. Nigeria now needs a youthful leader, well exposed, well educated.
All right, well, on our way out, I'll just leave this thought with you. Someone is asking on WhatsApp that you please dedicate some time to discuss the Electoral Act on Daily Digest. That is on the Dailies today. Nigeria, thank you for joining. When we return from this break, the news on the hour after that, on Monday, I told you that the National Assembly is considering amending the Constitution. They're currently doing it. Now, today, I'm going to teach you how you can be a part of that amendment. I have Kolawole Oluwadare from Serap joining me. You can be a part of the ongoing amendment. So stop complaining. It's time to act. That's the Morning Crossfire starting in a minute. Thank you, Jimi, Disu, for coming.
Thank you very much, Wemimo.
Nigeria's biggest conversation.
President Muhammadu Buhari says the country cannot afford a fresh lockdown because Nigeria's economy is too fragile.
We can only build a better and more prosperous Nigeria, one community at a time. Now, from your area, the thing will start.
Your favorite dial, 99.3 Nigeria